With big money deals and trade headline buzz currently all around the NBA, it is always interesting to see who could be next on the move. Whether it is a high-profile name or a smaller role player, every move has the ability to shift the landscape around the league. With the Los Angeles Lakers, you always have to expect the unexpected. They tend to pull out the big moves right when you are led to believe they are finished adding talent. They also have a knack for making guys who may not seem all that great turn into quality basketball players. You don't believe me? I've got two words for you. Alex Caruso. Caruso became an important piece for the team playing off of LeBron and quickly established himself in the NBA during his time in LA. However, now that he has left and signed a deal with the Bulls, it makes you wonder who else could the Lakers bring in and turn into a steady contributor. Remember, like, subscribe, comment, and watch the video. So with still plenty of time to make acquisitions, one player who comes to mind for the Lakers is James Ennis. Ennis is a name who had been connected to the Lakers over the course of the free agency period. While the Lakers have already signed quite a few veterans who could make an impact this season, the growing belief is that if they want to win a championship with a team of older veteran-type players, they will need to focus on depth to combat potential fatigue and injuries through the 82-game stretch and the playoffs. This way, they can give their guys plenty of rest and make sure they are ready for the postseason. While Ennis may not be the type of franchise player that you may expect to change a team, he is a sharp-shooting small forward who can also play shooting guard. You could start him if you need to, he could play a six-man type of role off the bench, or you could simply give him the rotation as a player. Any way you slice it, attaining a piece like Ennis is a good move. While his 2020-2021 statistics of 8.4 points per game and 1.5 assists per game will not blow you away, his 47.3% field goal percentage, 43.3% three-point percentage, and 80.5% free throw percentage might do the trick. Yes, you did hear those stats correctly. The guy can shoot the basketball. Now, it should be noted that he is just a career 36% shooter from three-point range. But perhaps last year he took strides forward that would work wonders for his career. His career 45.7 field goal percentage also lines up closer with last season's stats. He is also a guy who has been around the block and can offer leadership and mental strength to help out younger players. Ennis, who spent the last couple of seasons with the Orlando Magic, actually began his professional career by playing overseas in Australia. He'll likely want to build up his pedigree and perhaps work on some things before joining the NBA. Ennis then signed a multi-year deal with the Miami Heat, and then he used the NBA Summer League to his advantage by playing well and earning a spot on the opening night roster. Ennis was then traded in 2015 to the Memphis Grizzlies. However, he spent most of his time in the development league since the Grizzlies did not have room for him on their roster. He then spent most of 2016 also playing in the development league for the Grizzlies affiliate, the Iowa Energy. He was then able to ink a 10-day contract with the New Orleans Pelicans, who needed some more depth in their injury-laden roster. However, after spending the rest of the 2016 season with New Orleans, he would return to Memphis and play a much larger role for his former club. He became a key piece for the Grizzlies and was able to help them out offensively and started to make a name for himself in the league. Since 2018, he has become quite the journeyman, spending parts of seasons with the Houston Rockets, Philadelphia 76ers, and the Orlando Magic. Although he has missed time with various injuries over the past 4 years, he has also become a reliable beyond-the-arc shooter who could be a nice contributor for a contender such as the Lakers. While veteran Isaiah Thomas has been mentioned over the past couple of weeks, Ennis has been another player who would make sense for LA. NBA reporter Mark Stein said this about the situation. For the Lakers, wing depth is more important than a backup guard. James Ennis is a name that's been mentioned for the Lakers. Stein's comment makes sense. He could work as a backup for LeBron and Carmelo, and he would not be just a time waster. This is a guy who could score points, play a little defense, and help the Lakers out off the bench. He could be positioned anywhere from the 2 to the 4, given that he has a 6'11" wingspan and athleticism to hold his own defensively as well. Something else I found interesting was what Ennis himself said about possibly signing with a new team. In an interview with Hoops Rumors, he said, "I've been in the league for a while. I'm in the league for a reason, obviously. Good vet, a good locker room guy, good teammate all around. I just want to win. That's my biggest thing." A veteran who wants to win? Seems likely that he would not mind heading out to LA for a chance to play with LeBron and AD. He also commented on last season with the Magic by saying, "For me, I had an okay season. If I didn't get injured so much due to the short offseason, it was a quick turnaround. I feel like that's what caused my injuries. There were a lot of injuries in general this year. I only averaged 8.4 points per game, but if I was healthy and played more games, I probably would have been at 10 to 13 points per game this past year." So this is a guy who obviously believes in his talent and is willing to take a position as a role player and work as a good locker room guy and teammate. That kind of unselfish attitude is the character of a winning basketball player that winning teams would certainly be interested in. And with all of that said, many other postseason contenders are indeed interested in the sharpshooting wing. Teams potentially like Miami, the Nets, the Warriors, even the Grizzlies could try and make a move to acquire the services of Ennis. Each of these teams could use a veteran presence such as Ennis on their side. Many of these squads likely feel that one or two more pieces could tell the story of how their upcoming season goes. The Lakers are going to have competition if they do indeed choose to pursue James Ennis. Another motivation to sign Ennis for the Lakers would be to counter the other team's depth in the West. The Utah Jazz were a top contender last season, while the Clippers, Warriors, Nuggets, Trailblazers, and Suns all figure to be thorns in the side of the Lakers. There is not truly a powerhouse anymore, like we saw with Golden State a few years ago. This is more of a balance for power, which will mean a lot of hard-fought games in the conference. That has certainly been on the mind of the Lakers, as other than the trade for Russell Westbrook, their main focus has been adding role players to the roster to provide sustainability. Another interesting note is that the Lakers general manager and president of basketball operations, Rob Pelinka, says that he will listen to veterans LeBron James and Anthony Davis and head coach Frank Vogel on what moves they think could help the team. Many people often make jokes that LeBron tends to run the teams he plays on, and I suppose in a sense they aren't all that wrong in making that assumption. Pelinka said in an interview that Anthony Davis and LeBron James are championship pillars of this franchise for years to come. And of course, they're going to be involved in how we build our roster, how we have built our roster. Both great basketball minds, and Frank as well. I think the cohesiveness in making these decisions between your star players, the head coach, and the front office is really important, and that will continue to be our process moving forward. Now that is important because LeBron James, love him or hate him, has a very strong basketball IQ and knows what players would help his team win. There is a good chance that he may take note of a guy like James Ennis playing for a struggling team in Orlando and tell Pelinka to go and get him. With all this being said, it is clear that the Lakers are going to continue to be aggressive in terms of playmaking moves. Whether they acquire Ennis, Isaiah Thomas, or a completely different player, it will be exciting and interesting to see how they cap off their offseason. So what do you guys think about Ennis possibly heading out west? Is this the kind of savvy move that could help the Lakers turn things around after last season? What do you think of the trade? Will this help the Lakers win a championship next season? Let us know in the comment section below. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Thanks for watching.